I don't remember at all what we were doing, so I think we're gonna go star metal hunting. I think we had just gotten our alchemist, our witch doctor, to make demon fire orbs, so we are pretty much all ready to go and to gain a level. Sammy boy, hi, how's it going? Girl from Mars, hey, how are you? What to level up in? Authority would be active followers receive 50% increased healing. Quick-footed would be kind of nice. Maxing out vitality, it would be good. Steel-hued. Yeah, probably vitality. Niana, hi. Everybody's here. Your heavy attacks cause... Oh! Your heavy attacks stagger for 35% longer and no longer rebound off shields. That could be good. Although, I think the weapons that I use have shield smash anyway. So that, I guess that's less important. Because it's just heavy attacks. Let's just go vitality, I guess. More health is more better, so we'll do that. We got our bow, we got, I should not upgrade, but repair. We're gonna go metal hunting. Over the weekend, I was playing this, so I'm a little confused as to what I'm doing exactly. I was playing on a online server, and then I was playing on a friend's private server. So I had two games kind of going together. Okay, so we don't need that many. Let's do like 4. These things are heavy. 16. Might be a good idea actually to take all of them and put them in the thrall, but I guess if we... We'll take 6. 6 is a good number. Conan with your Conan, so you can Conan while you Conan. Yeah, it was good. I started a tavern in one of them, although it's a PvE server, so I can't unlock any of the boxes. So that kind of didn't work as well as I wanted it to. And then in the Drago. Oh yeah, and we got a Sumerian Berserker. We need to check him. My Leon's just standing around. He's got a while. He's gonna take a while. We got these guys. Janos, alright. The Leon and the Janos out here. We'll need to make them armor. Let's get you following me. We are nearly to a purge. Very close to a purge. We can outfit these guys. So yeah, I started a tavern. It was nice. It had a couple of tables and like a cook outside and a fridge, whatever that is. Preserving bin? No, it's like a refrigerator. Something. Cold box. Alright, he's got a hardened steel sword. And then my friend's dedicated server that he's got running, or private server, or whatever you want to call it, is playing on Sipta. And it's been a hot minute since I played on Sipta, and they are super unfamiliar with Sipta, so it was kind of fun. We were running around, and they're quite a bit further than I am, but not too far. So they're established. They got a big base. He's got one of the mod, or not mod, but texture packs for the different building sets. And so they built a big Japanese castle. It looks really good. It looks really good. Oh yeah, Drago's vitality is a little on the low side, huh? 78. That's alright. We'll keep him along for now. We're gonna switch him out for Sumerian Berserker when he's ready. So, okay, we got our food. I don't need to be quite so topped off, so that's fine. I am going to eat some feast. I can take this with me because it'll protect me from the cold. That's okay. We have our torch. I'll just grab some. I'll grab some wood on the way. Let's go look for star metal. Once we find some, and we get a fair bit going, I'll have to eventually place those guys outside. But once we get some and we get our armor made, I want to get the purge going. So we're gonna take a bunch of thralls. We're gonna get that purge meter up, and then hopefully we can start a purge and do that. I did get into the server over the weekend and just change some of the settings. The settings being the purge is now up to, I think, level 5. And it's only set to happen between certain hours. So it's gonna happen during stream if I happen to be offline, if I'm on here offline, although I don't really do anything offline. Except for the last half hour of stream, because the purge is going to last a half an hour, so I don't want it to be like just ending and then the purge happens and it's like, well, that sucks. It's a single player game, so I could just like save and quit out and then it would happen when I came back, but I don't know if I want to leave myself that present getting in the next day. I probably should have repaired my axe. Do we care about hide right now? I don't think we do. It's fine. The other thing I did in that game I was playing over the weekend was I was taking thralls. I went up to the Black Galleon and was just kind of... I don't think we did Black Galleon on this playthrough. I don't think I ever went up there. But it's a good place to get thralls. Particularly taskmasters. I think there's always a couple of taskmasters up on the front of the quote-unquote ship. And then there are like priests down below. There's a set priest and a meter priest most of the time, if not all the time, and a couple of alchemists over there. But anyways, I'm like running around on the pirate ship, and I found Maeve the Magnificent, who is a tempersmith, tier 4 blacksmith. And I was like, what in the hell is all of this? What is a tempersmith? Because I don't remember there being a tempersmith. And so I got her. And it turns out that those tier 4 blacksmiths make your weapons more better. They make your weapons more durable. They make them do more damage. They make them weigh less. And I was like, well, son of a bitch. So now I want a tier 4 blacksmith because that's amazing. And so there are 3 different kinds. I looked it up, and there are 3 different kinds of tier 4 blacksmith. You have edge smiths, you have temper smiths, and then you have is it bladesmiths? And each one kind of has a specialty. They all do those things that I mentioned, but they do them of varying degrees. Hunter. The tempersmith specializes in durability. And so all of my stuff that I was making was a more durable version. It was awesome. Including the tools, which is the big one. So I bet the Tempersmith is probably the best of the bunch, as far as like getting one of those. I guess you could also go for the Edgesmith, which ups your damage more. But yeah, it was great. So those are things that we'll have to look for at some point. And we do have a couple of spots where it seems like guaranteed blacksmith spawns. So we can keep checking them until we get a named one when we are searching for thralls. As far as right now, we are going over here into this area, and we're going to be looking for star metal orbs. We might have to be a little careful with our weapon just so we don't, we're not like purposefully going into a fight, but I don't want to take durability enough that I don't need to, because if we end up having to fight a bunch looking for star metal. I hear those rock noses right behind me. It's getting dark now. That could be not so bad, because we can kind of stage our ascent up into the snowy area for the morning, then try to make the best of the daylight up there. Hopefully we can find one node. I would like preferably two, but one would be great. We shouldn't have an issue finding them. In fact, when we're up here, we might see one come down, since the area won't be loaded in until we get up there. The nice thing is, so the bad thing is for star metal, if you're not aware, star metal only comes down in meteorites. And so sometimes it can be kind of hard to find. The good thing is once you find one, and you have the explosives to blow up the outer shell, there's quite a bit of metal per meteorite. The other thing that we could do as well is go up and like into the volcano and either take thralls or kill them. Or these guys over here that I'm heading to, and then you can take their weapons and dismantle them in a dismantling bench to get star metal ingots from that, which works pretty slick. I think Solus was doing that on one of these times we were playing. They came in and said that. Alrighty, yep, these are the Mounds of the Dead. We're heading towards. We can head over to the Mounds of the Dead. I think there's a book, like a cookbook, in the Mounds of the Dead somewhere. We could try to go get that, I guess. I don't know what it gives you, but it could be something nice. Where am I? I'm taking a weird route. Hopefully I don't run into anything scary. A regular wolf is fine.
Death to the Outlander!
I also, in the game over the weekend, made new armor. instead of going for the Kambujan stuff, I made the Vanir set. And the Vanir set, instead of giving you grit now, it gives you just stamina, just straight stamina. And that was pretty nice running around with high stamina. I like that. If I wasn't about to build the Silent Legion set, I would probably switch to the Vanir stuff for running around with, and then if I were going into a fight, I would switch to this stuff for the damage buff. Oh, almost fell down. Okay, those are Mounds of the Dead. I like that those Wraith guys glow. It's fantastic. We should actually kill a couple of these guys. Because we can harvest their bodies for Witchfire. They're gonna corrupt us if they hit us. But if they don't get to hit us, we don't gotta worry about it. Take your glowing essence. Yeah, Witchfire. You can make the cooler torches with those. The blue, the ones that are actually blue. Yeah. Yeah. I think you can use it for more useful things than just fashion, but you know, we know what we're about. Hey, I don't want to fight two of you. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to. Why are you running in place? I love that Thrall ability where they take the heat off of you. It's so good. There, I got a little bit of Witchfire. Are the blue ones the ones that stay lit underwater? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not sure, though. That'd be cool. I'm not sure if the Witchfire ones cool you down or heat you up, though. Probably cool you down, huh? But we'll see. We got a little bit of Witchfire. If we need to, we can come back here and farm these guys. Ow. Oh, there's another one. I heard you.
Steel and sparks!
What do you got? Give me some Witchfire. Come on. Nothing, man. We even have a Careful Harvester, too. Right? Yeah, Careful Harvest. So you get the more, yeah, better chance for rare stuff. A lot of dead guys in these Mounds of the Dead.
Eater will have your sword outlander!
Climbing boots? Those actually might be useful. I'll take those with me. If we need to go up a mountain. We could also try to find the Ymir Frost Giant since we're in the area too. I don't remember exactly where he is, but he's somewhere over here. There's a little more. Yeah, there we got some. 63. I don't know how much it takes per torch. But we're probably good. I won't purposefully run into fights anymore. This little ruin. What are these things? Crimson Lotus. I don't know what you need Crimson Lotus for, but I'll take some with me. Also got some leavening agent. We could get some of that, but meh. We don't need to be making booze or anything like that for anything particular. Let's check my map. Okay, yeah, we're going the right way. So we should, up here, be in the area for star metal meteorites. So everybody keep your eyes open in case you see one. It should be pretty obvious when we see one, especially if it comes down from the sky. That one's real obvious. That might be the dude, actually, the Ymir guy, or it's a terrible fight that we're gonna walk ourselves into. Oh, yeah. Why are you punching the cat? Pull out your weapon. Yeah, saber-tooths are mean. They make nice pets, though. Or at least they used to. Guess we'll just go up. Let's go up top. Oh, yeah, I see he was up here anyway. I thought he was the one level down. Alright, I think this is the guy. Yes, outcast camp. Talk to the outcast. Hi. Hi. Hello. Thank you.
By the gods of ice and snow, a new dream approaches. Hello, little dream. You are probably not real. I offer you welcome and polite palaver. You are exile.
Palaver.
As am I. Philosopher giant, some call me. I have been called sophist and fool. I am the outcast, and I no longer have a name. I have seen the hoarfrost glittering in the sun.
Do you mind if I take your chest? Actually, I don't want anything out of there.
Whispering
So,
across
never mind.
everlasting snows.
Alright.
I have seen the dark.
That is that regular ice or is that black ice? We'll go check it out. I do see some black ice right there. We'll definitely stop for black ice. Wait, is this black ice? No, this is regular ice. We don't care about this. Skyfall Ridge, good name. Perhaps meteorites. Those are... Oh, there's some black ice. Go get that quick. Or spies. Yeah. Hello, sir. Are you a black ice guy? If I harvest you, will you give me black ice? You will give me black ice. Hell yeah. It's amazing. I like the changes that they did to the rock noses. A long time ago, back when this game was first come out, the rock noses used to look way different. And they used to be... I don't think there were nearly as many variants of them either. Although I could be wrong about that. But yeah, they used to look kind of goofy. They had like big old heads and like kind of scrawny bodies compared to now. And they changed it, I think, with the SIPTA update. Because I remember jumping into SIPTA when I got it. And there were those things, and I was like, what in the hell is that? And I was really afraid of them because I didn't know what it was until I fought one. Then I'm like, oh, this isn't bad at all. These are like rock noses. They must be like Sipta versions. And then at some point I went back and played regular Conan map, and these things were here, and I was like, oh, never mind. They are just regular rock noses. Alright, we could keep going up. I don't think we really need to. Let's head down. We got a little bit of black ice. Enough for 800 bars, so if we need more, there's more next to our base. I just wanted to grab that stuff since it was like right there. Staying down in this valley too will help with the cold as well. I see a wolf. We got a mammoth or two fighting something. We're gonna have to head to the very northern end. There's a lot of animals next to the lake here. We'll check the lake quick. I think in this whole area, meteors start coming down. The camera just shut off. There's something particular about this lake too, but I don't remember what it is. Oh yeah, there's people like drowning, right? I didn't see it. There is a ghost that's like under the ice below you, like stuck. Okay, angry elk. There's also a dungeon up here, the Frost Giant dungeon. Although we cannot do that right now because we will literally freeze to death. Frost Needle Forest. Yeah, we're gonna start running into saber cats. Ow. That's a white wolf. That's a white wolf. We're leaving. I am not tangling with white wolves. What we need to find is a ledge. Hopefully Drago's doing okay. Those are not so friendly frost giants. We'll head over here. This is about the area we need to be in anyway. We'll take this guy out. There we go. How are you doing? Oh, you're totally fine. You're not even missing any health. Alright, the meteorites should, I think, hit this area a lot. We'll go check over there in a second. I want to kind of take the long way around so we don't have to fight those saber cats quite as much. The dungeon might be up there? I don't exactly remember. I don't really go up here a lot. I don't even think I ever did that Frost Giant dungeon. I was going to, and then I started freezing to death because it's like super, super, super cold in there. I think you pretty much need, there's a legendary shield that gives you like total cold protection. You basically need that thing to go do that. I guess you can set up like fires too, but what is that? Oh, okay. You're just wandering. I don't know if I've ever seen a greater cat. I don't really care to. The regular ones are bad enough as is. 2,500 health per one. All right. Yeah, this is the dungeon. Here, can I find it on my map? We'll go grab this obelisk. Got some black ice, we'll take that. Yeah. Oops, I keep doing that. Trying to drop it out of his inventory. But it's gotta be in my inventory to do that. Giant? I heard a giant. Okay. Yeah, let's just find this place on our map so we know where it is if we decide to go up here next. I mean, if we decide to go up here next, it'll probably be via obelisk teleportation. Temple of Frost. What's that thing? Getting a lot of black ice though. Not exactly what we're looking for, but I'll take it. It's better than nothing. We've learned how to make totems. Yeah, hold on to that for now. We'll switch it out later. I just want to try to stay light for the time being. Alright, we'll go hit the other side of this valley here, and hopefully we can find some. I should have grabbed some more wood while we were down in that forest so that we could make a fire up here, because it's going to get cold at night, and I'm going to have to drink at some point. And that's going to cool us down, and that will probably get us down to extremely cold temperatures, even with a torch. Although, it's not so cold over here. I might be able to get away with it. Frost Giant Camp. We can check up along that ridge for impact site. So we might go do that. I'm gonna go gather some of that wood though, as soon as he's a little more distracted. That's a nice spin to win you got there. Frost Giants aren't like too tough. You just generally don't want to get hit by them. They're slow and easy to dodge, so it's easy enough. Oh, see, he gave up on his mammoth. This is not a path up like I thought it was. If he keeps following us, we'll fight him. I would rather not fight that, though. Okay, he left. He heard me. Oh, okay. I'll just go with him. I see. I'm being the asshole. It's minding my own business, cutting down some trees. I don't see anything yet. This is way too tall to climb. We would have to find another way up. It'd be over there. Yeah, that looks like a convenient walkway up. If we can get over there. We'll just have to probably walk over there. Try not to fall into this crevice and get stuck. There are a couple of places where you can just wedge yourself into a place and not really be able to get out. I'm not sure if that's one of them, but it is something to be aware of. Okay. And then once we get on top of here and check it, we can... Actually, you know what? At some point, we're going to make a fire. And it would be convenient if we had meat to cook. Since we have volunteers, might as well grab it, right? It's probably going to take us a while to find a node. Hopefully not too long. I think it's starting to get dark too. Yeah, it's starting to get cold. Well, we are heading up too, so it could be that. A lot of metal up here. Ton of metal up here. I remember walking along this ridge, probably looking for meteorites, but I think this leads somewhere. I don't really spend a lot of time in the north, or I haven't. I think most of the time when I'm heading this way, it's for, like, to go to the volcano. Well, come on then. Okay, I see the difference now. These guys are like regular ice guys. In a nice area for meteors to spawn, just might not be up. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that there were meteors up along this ridge. It's just, you know, trying to find them or wait for them, especially being in a single-player game, because I think I'm gonna have to spend some time up here so that they can spawn. And I think a meteor shower only happens like once every 30 minutes or something like that. Once every 20 maybe. Something close to that anyway. Yeah, the spawn chance is super weird, yeah. So we might just have to camp out on this ridge for a while. Until one comes down. It is every 30 minutes with a 2% chance increase each time it did not happen, yeah. So yeah, we could get lucky and just find one sitting around. I'm not sure exactly how the spawns work in single player, since this area won't have been loaded. But like maybe it was running numbers in the background of being like, okay, you've played this long, so there should be one right here. And it's just sitting there waiting for us. We should hear it come down, too, if one impacts close to us. Hopefully not very close to us, because I think it can kill you if it hits you. Is this a volcano entrance? Took damage from something. Hot ground, maybe? It's getting hard to see. I see ice up there. If that is a volcano entrance, this wouldn't be like a terrible spot for a base then. Minus the the meteors coming down on your base. Something you have to watch out for. A little warmth never hurt. I probably should have sped up my nighttime cycle. On one of the servers I was playing on over the weekend, they had a very fast nighttime cycle. And man, that was nice. So that you're not just stuck here, you know, like not being able to see anything. Let's make a little temporary camp somewhere. Heard a kitty cat. Where are you, kitty cat? It's fine. This is fine, everything's fine. But yeah, we'll go make a little temporary campsite up here, I guess. I don't want to make it too close to these rock noses. I will harvest that black ice though. We are getting a little heavy. We're gonna have to offload some things. I guess we are like full of wood, huh? Don't walk off the edge. Good enough. I just want to make a little base up here. I'll put a bedroll down and a little fire. And then, in case something terrible happens, we'll spawn up here. We'll have a fire for warmth. I should probably make a backup torch, if I can. I'm not sure how much resources that's going to take. And then, if we need to, we can jump down, or just run right over if we're up here already. So let's see, we do not have a bedroll on us. I need to start carrying one with me. We should have, never mind. I don't have hide on me, so I can't make a bedroll, but I can make a little fire, I think. Nope, I don't need, I need stone. And I just threw some on the ground too. Good enough. There we go. I do want to keep a little bit on me for torch repairs. Throw all that in there, throw that away, we don't need that. Throw that in there, sure, why not? Throw these sticks in there, we don't need those. Okay, yeah, that was a lot of our weight we were carrying around with us. How are you doing on food? You're doing okay. Since we are sitting here, yeah. Beautiful. My little outhouse. This is mostly to mark that I have a little fire right here. But I think being in a house will give you protection from elements. Alright, stay time again. I don't know what's best, if to stay up here and then wait for meteors to show up. Depends on what it's made from. Oh yeah, I would have need to make flotsam stuff, because that gives you cold protection. That's right. But I didn't want to waste all my wood, so... This is fine. It's mostly just to mark out where we are anyway. So yeah, Magnus, do you know what the best way to do meteor hunting is? Should I just wait up here and then wait for one to come down? Because I should be able to see it. Or wander around? Are some impact sites already here, possibly? Because I could go check the other side of this valley, like up along this ridge, along here. Or if anybody knows where to look for meteor hotspots, I am open. Should be on Skyfall Ridge area if it has come down. Okay. So like could possibly be on this side as well, since it's one of the best spots. Gotcha. Since it's daytime, I guess we can go check around. West. West of where I'm at. Yep, okay. Alright, we'll do some checking around. I do want to check up here. The flats, okay. Yeah. We did run through there. I didn't see anything, but we can run through again. I don't want to be sitting around doing nothing, waiting for something to happen. I do need to get rid of some of this stuff. What's so heavy? Is it just the black ice? I mean, the black ice is pretty heavy. We might have to throw some black ice away. We got 1,500 in Drago, so we'll probably end up, you know, if we find a star metal meteorite, we'll probably end up replacing that black ice with star metal anyway. So I should just throw it out right now, so I will. We got black ice near our base anyway. I'm not too concerned about it at this point. Our base is pretty close to the black ice. And at worst, we just gotta fight some dragons for it. Not a big deal. Alright, I don't see anything. Meteor has a chance to spawn every 30 minutes. Yeah, right, yep. Every 30 minutes, and then Magnus said 2% chance increased every time it does not happen, which sounds right. I remember something like that. Like, it's been a long time, but that does sound familiar to me. Really, all we need is just one to come down, because one meteor should give us more star metal than we can, just about more star metal than we can carry, if I remember right. And then we'll make a star metal pick first, and then that armor, I think. Armor for us. You have explosives on you? Yeah, I got some demon fire orbs. I am prepared. As long as I don't miss. But that's why I brought 6. I almost got hit by one on the flats. Yeah, that sucks. On one of the servers I was playing on, one of my friends built near the lake, like at the northern end of the lake, and their house got hit by a meteor. Alright, don't walk off. Alright, yeah, we'll head down. We'll check that area. Are we gonna need any of this? I'll grab an extra stack of food just in case. There's a lot of frickin' cats down there that do bleed. Anything over that way? That looks like a coal. Or possibly just a rock. It's just dark. I don't see any up there though. Follow this path back down. This will lead us into the like tree area. I don't know if you're watching, but we already checked up near the Frost Temple of Frost. I didn't look like hard or anything, but I did go check it. Nothing obvious. Like sometimes they end up in the crevices up there in that area, I think, and they're kind of hard to see. Where is the proper path down? There's one right here. Is there another one? I think I'm not sure if there is or not. Just trying to just plan out where my my ways back up are. This ridge, because we might have to climb this thing several times. Okay, yeah. Let's keep an eye on that. Crossing the Forest Islet Lake. We probably need to be up here. It will spawn right behind you, yeah. More black ice. Man, there's a lot of black ice on this side. I usually go on the exact opposite side of where I am right now, or build, like where my house is. And there's not a lot of black ice in that area. I think the nodes that I run up to are like the ones on that side of the map. That was the second one, wasn't it? Can you not? You are. Drago, use your weapon. I know I named you after a boxer, but come on. Can I strip? I can't. I can't strip. Terms of service. Let's do that. I need regular hide. What to make a bedroll. Frozen slopes. So far, I don't see anything. We'll go other side here in a second. Just checking the ridges. Oh. Oh, I see. I guess we could take a walk through there. It would be it would upset Twitch if you stripped, yeah. I'm trying to cut back, you know. I don't want to fight this thing. I don't have the durability of my weapon to really sit here and have a drag-out fight. Thing's got way too much health. And this ridge is infested with cats. We went and checked up there. I don't see anything over this way. That mammoth leave us alone? Yeah, it did. Okay. I guess, yeah, we can check this area. Okay, we gotta kill this thing. Why are you not using your weapon? There you go. Finish him off. Good job. Though with how they handled their recent event, it might be fine. Recent event. What are you talking about? Recent event. I saw there was a streamer / adult performer at TwitchCon that broke her back in 2 places. It's fucking nuts. Don't ignore me. Sorry, I didn't mean to get that close to you. Other than that, I haven't heard of anything about TwitchCon. What are you talking about? See some metal nodes up there. No meteors. She broke her back, someone else broke an ankle. They forgot to invite Dream to a panel. They had people packed over capacity to the point where people passed out. No security for streamers. A female streamer had a fan lick her face. That's not cool. Don't do that. I mean, my fiance and I were talking about it, and we were joking about Twitch. It's like, because I watched the video. This was before it was poorly handled. Yeah, well, I mean, that's Twitch, right? That's what it sounds like. Not to, I mean, I'm on their platform, so whatever, but they're not the best at handling stuff. They don't seem to make super good decisions sometimes. The foam pit was like, what, 2 feet deep or something like that? Like, not nearly enough, like, of what they were doing. Because they were, like, up on platforms with pugil sticks. So, like, even, I saw her, like, jump off and she did, like, a toe touch and then landed on her butt. Which is still no excuse, it's a foam pit. But even if she didn't do that, somebody falling off of that little platform with the pugil sticks could have hurt themselves. Like, a lot. And if somebody broke their ankle doing that, then makes a lot of sense, because that was not nearly safe enough. It's like they put just enough to think you're safe, and then you fall off and you break yourself. Gymnastic regulation is 4 to 6 feet deep on foam, not 2 feet on concrete. Yeah. So ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. You know, but Twitch got their money, so whatever, right? Like, I don't think they care all that much. I mean, over the years, there have been so many stories of Twitch streamers being like, yep, tried, like, this terrible thing happened, and I tried to go through their support and just got nothing back, or whatever, so. And then with them changing their sub revenue to take half of everybody's stuff rather than put out these, like, special deals, like they were cutting. I don't know. The whole thing kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth. It's like, I don't know. You get real sleazy vibes. You know what I mean? Banned. Wouldn't that be some shit? Suddenly my stream turns off. Like, what happened? They got like an AI watching all the streams, waiting for like certain keywords to come up. Just auto ban you. AI, unpaid intern. Yeah, it's true. They pay you an exposure for your Twitch channel. Little do you know that those are what the bots are. Those are the bots that they have. They view their unpaid interns' Twitch streams and they're like, oh, it's working. That's cool. I see you. So most people that work for them, yeah. Yeah, you gotta laugh about it, because otherwise it's just sad. But, you know, it is what it is. This is the world we live in now. Yeah. Particularly me. I had a weird, because, like, oh man, yeah, my axe is getting real broke. We need to calm down on the fighting. But I guess I could switch my axe out with my thrall's weapon. Which is kind of why I keep their weapon at full repair at all times, so in case of a situation like this, I can swap our weapons. But anyway, if you didn't know, I'm making a video game, although I haven't worked on it for a little bit. I haven't been putting out... I was doing weekly updates on Thursdays, and I haven't been doing that lately because... I am very stuck on a problem, and I do not know how to solve it. And every time I try to solve it, things get worse. So it's really discouraged me from working on it. But it's still in the background, and it shouldn't be. It should be in the foreground. I need to just work on it. I just need to get through my problem, and then things will be smoother sailing, I should say. Flotsam, we need some more stone. So anyway, while I'm making this game, I'm like, oh, I have this thought of like, I have, when I push it, I have no money for like advertising or anything like that, so nobody's gonna hear about it, and I'm like really worried about it. And it just so happens I have a family member that was in the advertising business, and I'm like, hey, we should talk about this at some point. And he's like, yeah, sure. And then kind of flaked out, and then I started panicking a little bit, because I'm like, oh, well, don't know what to do with that. And then I was like, well, I could start streaming and putting out YouTube videos, and that would, you know, at least have somebody to talk to about all of this. And now here I am. Let's exchange these for flotsam walls. That put it the wrong way, didn't it? Yeah, it sure did. It sure did. So yeah, at some point when my game is done, I'm gonna be like, hey guys, I have this game. You should download it and play it. Because it's gonna be released free on the App Store, so it won't cost you anything. Unless you want to buy stuff in the little store that I'm gonna have. Which is all gonna be like cosmetic stuff, not things that you need to play. I have strong opinions about games and their monetization models nowadays, particularly like with loot boxes, and so I'm not gonna do any of that. Perfect, that's exactly what I wanted to happen. But anyway, long story short, after I started doing this for a little bit, I had a weird of like, I never would have guessed this is where my life would be. Just sort of weird. Yeah, let's grab an extra stack of this. We'll throw that in there. Sure, why not? Throw that in there. We don't need that. And we don't need all this wood either. We just need, like, I don't know, 15 should be more than enough. There we go. Getting dark again. So yeah, I guess, we're gonna sort of ask me anything while we wait for meteors, because I don't want to leave. Because when you leave, it was like, oh, it was just about to happen. We've been up here for, give or take, an hour now, right? Something like that. We could go up and check that ridge. We might have had one come down while we were out on the other side and just didn't hear it or notice it. I could also just open the admin panel and change my nighttime settings so that it doesn't happen so long or as much. The purchase meter jumped up, so I bet our Sumerian Berserker is done. Do you ever think you'll do longer length streams, or what's your percent division between streamer and developer? But I've had so many Ask Me Anything questions lined up. It's a good question. I guess it depends on how well the stream does. And I don't mean that in, like, terms of revenue or anything, although that would be nice. Mostly it's like just people coming in, hanging out. Like, the more people that I have, like Sammy or Girl from Mars or Nienna or Magnus. I just said Sammy and Girl from Mars and Nienna because they were like right here when I opened up stream when I started, and that was nice. I wasn't sure if you were here. You didn't say anything, Magnus, but you could have been here for sure. And that's like such a good feeling. You know, it feels like what I'm doing is worthwhile. It feels like I'm doing something of value to somebody at least, even though it's just running around in Conan. And so if more people start showing up, and then like I had It's Your Buddy Steve raid me. And the first time that happened, I was like so excited and also didn't know what to do. And that's like it's a good feeling. It being on this schedule has really done a lot for like my mental health and things like that. So I'm definitely going to continue to do it. And if it starts to become more successful, as in more people start showing up to the stream and hanging out and talking and chatting, then I might decide to do it longer or switch up my hours. Maybe we were talking about maybe doing evening streams at some point. So keeping this time as is and then doing a stream like later on in the evening, because it's morning for me. It's like about just before 11 for me. It is very time consuming, especially going through my videos and like trying to see if there's anything worthwhile for like short form videos. I made a TikTok and my first two videos I put up got 500 views. And I have no idea what TikTok is about. My background is in computer networking, and I remember when it came out, there was some really weird stuff in the TikTok terms of service and some other things about it that really were like, I don't know if I want to do that. But at this point, everybody's using it, so it's a great place to kind of get discovered. So I was like, okay, yeah, you gotta pick and choose your battles, and that one I gave in on. As far as the development goes, the development side of things, I would love to do more development. Hell, maybe even do like a game development stream, although that would be extremely boring. Because I'm not super good at developing. I don't know coding very well. My background is in Cisco stuff, so all of my knowledge is Cisco devices beforehand, and I'm learning C# as I'm making this game. So that's a sort of interesting challenge to overcome, because there are some things of like I see what to do and I see how to solve it. Like my problem. So my problem in my game right now is my character is not registering or not. Okay, let me back up for a second. So my character has a ground check, it's called, where the hitbox detects if it's touching a ground hitbox, a hitbox flagged as a ground piece. And if it is, it means that you can jump. And when you jump, that box gets unchecked, and when you retouch the ground, it gets checked again. So you can jump again. So it's like, cool. Seems simple enough, right? Well, my tile pieces that I'm making to build my level, because it's a side-scrolling platformer that I'm making, when the character leaves that hitbox, it detects it as leaving. So it it first enters the hitbox that it's touching, because the two floor pieces are touching each other, right? So the character's hitbox enters one piece, and then it exits the other one once it gets a little further, and the game detects as like, oh, you left that hitbox, and so it unchecks it to be able to jump, and so you can't jump anymore, and so you get stuck running around without being able to jump, which is like your main mode of controlling your character in a platformer. So it's bad. My solution to this, which I think I'm going to do, is you have a raycast shoot down from the center of your character, and if it hits ground off of a certain length, say you have your ray, this long, and if it's touching ground, if the ray is touching ground, then that means you can jump. And if it isn't, then you can't. So that is one solution to kind of solve that problem, and I shouldn't have much of an issue like running into the sides of things because it's an auto runner, so I shouldn't have to worry about like getting stuck on a ledge or something like that and not being able to jump, because it's like, well, I'm touching the side and I should be able to jump here, and I can't. Now my issue is, I think I found some code online that will fix my problem for me. The bigger problem is that I don't understand it enough to implement it. So I have the code pasted into my character controller, and they have a lot of things, a lot of comment sections in the code to be like, okay, this is this and this is this, but they're speaking at a higher level than I can understand. And so I'm like trying to learn how to raycast and all of its components, which is complicated, at least for me. I have a hard time understanding it. To figure out how this code works. And the kicker is I don't even know if the code is going to work. And while it's like, well, that's okay, at least you would have learned something, which I do agree with you, this is about my 4th time doing something like this for this one problem. I have tried different things and been like, okay, I don't know how this works, so let's learn how it works. And I learn how it works, and then I go, okay, this doesn't work. Like, and maybe it should work. I don't understand completely why it doesn't work. I understand most of the bits. And it's close. But it just doesn't work, so we have to scrap it and start over, do something else. And that gets frustrating after a while. And like after a while, it's like there's got to be a way to do it, but I don't know if I'm smart enough to fix it. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And so that really makes it hard to work on, because every time I look at it, I feel really stupid. Because I can't figure out what to do. But I need to just buckle down and be like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out. Today's the day. And then spend, X amount of hours bashing my head against a wall until I finally understand it. And then hopefully it works. And then I can not worry about that particular problem anymore. Once I get that particular problem done, it's because I have a lot of infrastructure made for the level. I can start doing my actual level designs. I have a lot of the artwork done for it, so it's gonna look nice. I have my animations in sprite sheets. I need to get them set up in Unity, in the game engine. But the art there exists so that I can do my other animations, get the bulk of the basic bits of my game done, and then after that it's just going to be like building levels and doing enemy stuff, like enemy hitboxes. Hitboxes are weird. In this time of making games, I have come to appreciate so many things in games as I've learned more about it. And one of the things is like hitboxes. So doing hitboxes yourself is like such a eye-opening experience. So now whenever I play a game, say like Dark Souls 1, and something funny happens with a hitbox, particularly like Taurus Demon. Taurus Demon has this weird lingering hitbox for its big slam attack. And before I'd be like, what the hell? Like, come on, guys. Now after developing games, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I see my camera shut off. I'll turn it on when this cat is dead. You know, in my hitboxes I'm making are just 2D. They're not 3D hitboxes. And there are so many components that go into it, and it's just one of those things that got put on the back burner, or they ran out of time and are just like, you know what, it's just got to be good enough, because there are so many components to a game. You know, and who knows how long in development Dark Souls was, the first one. I think it's got to be like 2 or 3 years, I bet, if not more. I'm not sure how long development actually was on it. But it's rough. It's rough, man. I also have the music done. I have all of the music except I have to make main menu music still. But I have all the music done for my game, sitting in a file, and most of my alerts are... No, all of my alerts are music that I've made for the game. Little clips of it, little bits of it. So... I have a lot there, I have a lot done. It's just, I'm stuck on this one problem, but the one problem isn't one that I can put off, you know, because, like, my character can't jump. So that makes designing levels impossible, because I don't know... I don't know if, like, the jump is good, if the level design is good, because I can't play it. So that makes it really tough to test. And you're constantly testing when you're doing these things. So thus concludes my my talk about my game for now, I guess. I'm gonna grab some of this ice and I'm gonna bring it up into my campfire, because I think you can put ice in a campfire and it will turn into, like, purified water, maybe? Is that right? Or maybe, I hope I don't need to do anything else for it. I hope I can just throw it in that campfire, because I'm gonna need to get water at some point if we're staying up here for a long amount of time. What sort of things do you look for in a game to play? Has it changed since you started developing your own? That's a good question. So, things that I look for in games, I love crafting in games. I love building. So, games like this, Conan, where it's a survival builder. The survival portion of it, it turns out, I don't really care about. It adds an interesting element and an interesting challenge to overcome with, like, you know, food and hunger and cold and stuff like that. But that's not the main reason I play this game. The main reason I play this game is for 2 reasons. For one, the combat system is much better than Ark. And 2, I love the building in it. I love the making a base. I love that progression, that steady progression of going from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, farming up. I love grinding. So a game that has a fun grind is really going to be good for me. Since I started developing games, I'm not sure if it's changed my tastes in games. I will say that it has given me a lot more appreciation for games. And things that they've done, certain things I notice about games that I wouldn't have thought of before. Of like, oh man, how'd they do that? Like, that's a really cool idea. And like, thinking about, well, I kind of know how this works. I wonder if this is how they did this. This might be a solution to do that in a game, you know, but it's still it would still be tough and very time consuming. Otherwise, I like the Souls games. Dark Souls 1 particularly. Mostly probably because of the exploration. And another thing too. So, if you compare Dark Souls 1 to the other Souls games, most recently like Elden Ring. Yeah, that's not doing anything, is it? I really like Dark Souls 1 for the exploration and the gameplay. I like the gameplay. I think it's got a good flow to it. You can react a lot in Dark Souls, the first one. Enemies start doing a move, you can recognize what they're doing, you can react to it, you can parry them in a good amount of time. I like parrying things. Who doesn't? Whereas in the newer games, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, things get a lot less reactionary. You have to start learning what they're going to do based on the positioning that you're doing. Things happen so fast, or your parry window gets so small, that it becomes hard to react to things. You have to be very familiar with them to do it. At least for me. Like, you know, I'm not super good at them, but I do okay for myself. So I like that kind of gameplay. Also, if a game is fantasy based, I am pretty much in. Just from that, I'll give it a chance if it's fantasy genre. So Conan is a really good fit for me because it has some of those action RPG type elements. It has the fantasy based stuff. You know, we're set in ye olden times. You know, sword and sorcery. Conan did invent sword and sorcery after all. And it's got a ton of building in it. So Conan is great. I do wish there were some more maps to play, I guess, so you can keep that exploration alive. I know a lot about the map as is. You know, some places I haven't really discovered, like the jungle, for example. I don't really go to the jungle because there's really no reason to go to the jungle, in my opinion. You go there for the Witch Queen's mask and you get out. And, like, that's it. Otherwise, it's like spiders, gorillas. It's just kind of like, okay, whatever. It looks nice, but it's so far away from. The trouble with it is like I would love to build in the area because I like the look of it and I like the area. It's got some really nice locations, but it's so far away from, like, black ice and star metal that you would never want to build there because you'd have to travel so far to get your resources. Unless there's, like, little caches of black ice and stuff that I don't know about. But even then, for star metal, you'd have to go so far. You have to go on the opposite end of the map. Like, completely, like, diagonally. It'd take forever. So that's my main reason of, like, not to build there. Anyway, go on my tangent about the jungle. I do wish I could build in the jungle. It's just there's no resources there, so I won't. Sipta got it figured out because Sipta, all of those resources are outside of the vaults, and the vaults are spread around everywhere on the map. So you're always not too far away from some of those resources, which is like a way better system than just having it in like one spot that you have to go to. Sipta is a lot smaller as well. But the horses are better. in SIPTA. Not because of like any mechanical bonus, but because of the map itself. I don't use a horse on this map because you have to get off of it so much, and you have to have it like follow you, and then the horse gets stuck places, and you end up forgetting it places, and it's just a big pain in the butt. It is much better in SIPTA because SIPTA is a much flatter map. There are not so many ledges that you need to worry about. It's not so vertical. It is, but only in certain spots. So you don't end up having to do that as much. What is that over there? Oh, that is the Black Keep. Okay. Any other questions, Leanna? Or anybody else? If you could have an unlimited supply of one food item, what would you pick? That depends. Do you, or can I, have variants of that food? Or does it have to be a very specific thing, one thing forever? Do you have any weird fears? Mostly spiders. And heights. Don't like spiders, don't like heights. If I was high up and there was a spider there, I'd probably die. Variants allowed. Sushi. Sushi 100%. If I had to pick one type of sushi, nigiri. I could live off nigiri for the rest of my life and I'd be okay. I lived in Japan, and after about 2 years, I started to get sick of it, and then, like, I didn't have sushi for like a month, and then I was back at it. So... that's what it would be for me. I'm trying to think, do I have any other weird fears? Ooh, I do have one. I have a weird fear of my fingernails getting ripped off. That freaks me out. So anything that's like fingernail related, like sometimes people get like something happens to their fingernail and their fingernail like comes up off of the finger. That stuff freaks me out a lot. I can't handle it, and that's been ever since I was little. And so I've constantly, like, obsessively kept my fingernails short and like cut, and I like every day I clip my fingernails pretty much because I don't know. It's not gonna help, and I know that, but it makes me feel better. So I guess that would be one thing that's uncommon. If you could say one thing and everyone on Earth would hear it exactly 10 minutes later, what would you say? Ooh, it's a weird question, but a good one. Huh. I would have to think about that. Good question. Hear it exactly 10 minutes later. You said any more questions? Not that they need to be game differently. No, for sure. I'm with you. It's a good question. Like I really have to think about it. It would probably end up being some sort of like joke. But a really dry joke that only I get, because that's my kind of humor, is like, because I tell jokes not for other people but for myself, which has some interesting side effects. I remember I was hanging out with my friends one time. We were going, we were somewhere. We were all hanging out. This was in my military days, so there was like a bunch of us in this place. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I cracked some joke, and I deliver my jokes completely deadpan. And I think people heard it and then just didn't register it right away. And, you know, it's not like, that's fine. You know, the joke was for me, not for them. And, like, a half an hour later, one of the guys comes up to me and he's like, hey, when this guy said this, did you say this? And I was like, yeah, I did. And he goes, oh, that was funny. And I go, yeah, it was. And just stared at him. And he felt so awkward. Like, you could see it on his face. But it's like, dude, I'm just messing with you. It's fine. Like, so that's like my kind of humor.
Yeah.
So it would probably be something like that, and everybody would just end up being super confused. That's what would happen. And I would think it was hilarious. And I would tell people about it all the time, and they would be like, okay. But it's okay. What is... Oh, they're still having a fight. I see. We have a ton of food in our fire, so I don't need to kill any more of these goats. So yeah, hopefully that is a good enough answer for you. I don't have something specific. I would really have to think about it. I'd probably say something that would piss everybody off. Oh. But how do you pick something that would piss everybody off? Like, that would be tough. That would take a long time to orchestrate that to upset everybody. I don't know if you could do well. Yeah, I think you would have a hard time with that. What the hell is that? That is a weird texture happening. There's probably like a fire on in the top of that, because that's the black keep over there. There's probably like a fire on top, and it's just having a weird time, or it's a piece of lava. Oh, what was that? Did you hear that? I thought I heard an impact. Maybe that was just ambience. But I could, that sounded like an impact. I didn't see anything though. I should save my torch. I'll just look up. I would say only your beliefs are correct, and everybody else is lying to you. That would probably work. That's a good one. Because I guess if you hear the voice in your head, do you know who's talking? Or is it just like you hear a voice in your head and you're like, that's weird? Here's a question for you, chat. When you think in your own head, do you hear your own voice? Do you hear somebody talking to you? Or is it just kind of like you know innately what your thoughts are? No, I do not hear it. Because sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I don't hear it, yeah. I also cannot picture... Oh yeah, right, you talked about this. Because we talked about D&D and why you don't like it. And I was like, why? And you're like, because of this. And I'm like, oh, that makes a whole lot of sense. I will hear their voice for what they said only. Okay, that's interesting. I really hope that was a meteor that came down that I heard, so that we can go get the star medal. Otherwise, we're gonna be up here for a while. Although every so often, the chances are gonna go up. So eventually, it'll happen. Eventually, it'll hit 100% chance, and it'll happen. I'm not sure what the interval is on the 2%. Is it every minute? Like it's going to happen every 30 minutes, and if it doesn't every minute, the chances go up by 2% or something like that. If so, we only need to be up here for like, at most, another half hour. And then at least one will come down. What's your guilty pleasure snack food? Guilty pleasure, huh? Because I love to snack, and I usually don't feel guilty about it. I love jerky, but I will eat jerky all day and not feel guilty about it. So probably, like, chocolate. Because chocolate's not good for you. But I will eat, like, a whole bar of chocolate. I mean a big one. Otherwise, I don't know. What's another snack food that's like terrible for you? Because that's the only time that I would feel bad about it, is if it was like really, really bad for you, and I'm gonna eat it anyway. I don't know. I'll eat most things though. I eat a lot of things. I only send the same portion twice. That's fine. Every 1800 seconds, 30 minutes, the cycle starts. Chance to spawn timer initially, i.e. after the server restart. There's a 75% chance that a meteor shower will be triggered. Chance to trigger meteor. If there is a meteor shower, the next shower comes at least 3 hours later, so in the 6th cycle, with a 2% chance for a shower. Has the chance for the next meteor shower is set to 0%, and the cooldown to 5 cycles, meteor cooldown. After that, there can be a potential shower every 30 minutes, and every unsuccessful attempt increases the chance for the next round by 2%. If no meteor shower triggers, then the chance for the next cycle is increased by 2% chance increment, and the cooldown, meteor cooldown, is reduced by 1. Okay. So never mind, we could be up here for a lot longer than that. But I thought I heard something. I didn't see anything, though. That's the issue. I guess we could go down on this side and check that side of the mountain. I don't know how to get back up, though, so that might be a long run around. And especially with our axe in the condition that it is, could be a little rough. We're gonna run through these guys. Alright, I don't see anything up here. I guess we'll go all the way up. Yeah, I don't see anything that way. What the hell? Where is that? I don't see a cat anywhere. I don't see anything. What over here?
Hey.
Alright, let's hop down the side here, and we'll check around. Otherwise, we can climb up and we can go down the other way. But if I did, that would probably involve a journey back home, because on that side, yeah, that's the dragon mouth, so I don't think meteors usually get on this side, right? Like, I think they're only in this portion, really. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they'll show up in this area. Although they could, I guess. You would see one on your way to the, go down towards Skyfall Ridge. Skyfall Ridge. Oh, all the way down there. You're too far north. West. Okay. So just follow this ridge and go south? Or, like, get down into the valley and then go south? Yep, okay, cool. I will do that then. Stay on the ridge. Got it. Staying on the ridge. Any other questions? Since we're just kind of running around and I'm avoiding fights. Oof. You better not destroy my campfire either. Frickin' rock noses. I don't think they do, though. I don't think things really attack your buildings unless there's a purge happening. Speaking of, yeah, we're right on the line. We're right there. So hopefully we get a meteor, and then we'll head back. And then we'll start pushing that purge meter. How are you doing, Drago? Level 13. Yeah, he's doing okay. Do you have any pets? I have one kitten. I don't know where she is right now. Sometimes she says hi. Her name is Faye, but she has... we don't call her that. She has many nicknames. Including... Little Shadow, Soot Sprite, Pork Chop, Littlest Big Fat Kitten, or just a number of kittens until you decide to stop. We couldn't fit that on the paperwork, so we went with Faye. She was a rescue kitten. We went looking around, and because my old cat had died, not too long before, maybe like, I don't know, 6 months before, until you decide to stop, yeah. Maybe like 6 months before or something like that. And he died, yeah, I got him when I was in Japan, and he died of a kidney disease. So he kind of like deteriorated. Check the cliff face as well, yeah. I will do that. That's a regular rock. Oh, I see. But anyway, so we went checking around, and I think we went to it was like a PetSmart or something. Something along those lines, and we were like, oh, hey, we're looking at your kittens. And they're like, okay, well, here's all this paperwork that you need to sign. It would cost like a lot of, I can't remember how much, but it was a lot of money to adopt. And then they're like, okay, and then you have to agree to a random house visit sometime within the next year. And it's like, lady, we're not adopting a child, it's a cat. Like, I get you want to make sure that the cat's okay, but it's a cat. So we were like, yeah, sure. And then we, like, got out of that because we were like, no. And then we went to the Humane Society. And they're like, hey, you want a cat? You want 2 cats? 3 cats? We got this. We got all these cats. Take as many as you want. Cost you like, I don't know, $50. It wasn't very much. And we were like, sure. So we took a look around at the cats, and our kitten was in there, and she was sick. She had kennel cough, and she had just had kittens recently, so her belly was shaved because they had just spayed her. And so she was sick and recovering, and you know, for so many reasons, and she was just so pitiful and also snuggly, and we were like, this one, okay, we're taking this one home. And then we did that day. And right away, I think she slept in the bed with us the first night we took her home. So she's a very cuddly cat. Oh hey, it's you. Do you have anything new in your chest? I don't really want to fight these. But, I guess we could head down and check the bottom portion down here. I don't see any impact sites. But yeah, that was, 2 years ago that we got the cat. 2, maybe, coming up on 3, maybe? Probably 2. Go up the cliff near your house. Okay. Just checking the cliff here. I don't see anything. That kind of looks like one, but that's just a rock. Bunch of ice. Instead of turning towards your house, just turn right. Like down this way. No, up. Up and turn right. Oh, this here? This feels like directing someone into your apartment complex when you can see them from the balcony. No left. No, your other left. Okay, now walk 3 feet. No, you've gone too far. This area here has some of the highest spawn chances. Okay. Sounds good. Well to watch. Drago? Just gonna let these goats do whatever they want to you. I bet these have a regular hide. Yes, they do. We can make a bedroll. Alright, well, let's take a look around. Thule, what would you do without Magnus's help? Sit on top of that mountain and be sad. We'd be here all week. I know, I'd have to just make a new base up here. This is where we live now, guys. Waiting for meteors to happen. But we really need star metal. Especially with the purge so close, I'm gonna need that that armor to survive it, I bet. Because I decided to put the purge up to level 5. We'll see if that was a good decision or not. You can also skill people at the Mounds of the Dead as they do drop star metal weapons and tools. Yeah, I thought about doing that. I was hoping that there would be a meteor here though, because we've been playing so long on this single player. I was hoping that there would be a spawn up here, because you can get a ton really quickly. But yeah, we might have to go down to the Mount of the Dead and just kill guys and hope that they drop star metal stuff. If you thrall them, it's a much better chance to get their weapons, but like, somebody was talking, I can't remember who exactly it was, but they were doing tier 2 thralls up there, and they give like a star metal mace like every time. Something like that. Which is nice. But yeah, I was really hoping that there would be a meteor up here just waiting for us. And I mean, there might be, they're just, you know, kind of hard to find. But they make it pretty obvious, because like they're pretty big. They're really round, so they're easy to pick out, and I think like they smoke too, don't they? I mean, it's been a long while since I've played this game and found star metal, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. I used a nice mod when I play that gives all loot they carry, when you kill a thrall, it's useful. Oh, I bet it is. I introduced a new mod into my game, which is basically, it just makes it so building is a lot easier. Like, you have less building restrictions, you can kind of like clip things into each other. Don't. Yeah, why don't we head down the whole way, and we'll check the mountainside from the side there. What is that weird effect happening right there? That must just be like a weird fog texture. It almost looks like steam in that like one area. Was it here? I think it was here. Kill that goat for me. Thank you. Oh, we made a bedroll and didn't place it. Oops. It's fine. Checking rocks. Okay. You got no spawn, yeah. Yeah, it should be pretty obvious when there's one there, right? Yeah. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe we should just do Mounds of the Dead. Just to get some. The trouble is like, how much would I need?
Yeah.
Because I think the chest piece alone takes 22 pieces, and off of a weapon, you're probably gonna get like 5.
See me and tremble!
All right. Who are you? We got a dancer, fighter 3. Don't bleed me.
So I can carve it on your pyre!
An iron pot. I'll take that. Climbing gloves. Sure. Do you guys have a chest? You got a book I can read? Stargazer's Crest. They're giving you all the hints of like, hey, it's right here. How am I doing on resources? Yeah, we're good. No book though. I was gonna go down and get some water. It's about 3 to 7 per weapon / tool. Okay. Yeah. So we would need. Okay. Let's assume middle. So 5. Let's just take averages. We would need 5 for a chest piece, give or take. And now, while the chest piece takes the most, you still have 4 other pieces of that armor to do. It's so much. We would need so many. 5 tools per gear piece just to be safe. Yeah. Yeah. So we would need 25 to build that set. 50 if we wanted to make 2, one for our thrall and one for us. Maybe a little bit extra for repairs if we needed it, but shouldn't need repairs. Because, I mean, we've been wearing this stuff for a while, and it's not even... Some of it's not even half, some of it's a little under half, maybe like 30%. But that Silent Legion armor is going to have a lot more hit points than this stuff, I think. We're sitting at... yeah. That armor's probably got somewhere around 700 and change. Maybe 600 per piece for durability. A kitten! She likes to walk by and slap me with her tail. You could also farm legendary armor repair kits. Oh, can you dismantle them into star metal? Blacksmith 3.
Yeah.
No, for fixing it. Oh, yeah. I think we have 3 of them. What is this? Sumerian fur boots. Medium. I mean, I'll take that. Dismantle it. Spectre coating. Right. I forgot about that stuff. Those boots also give star metal, I think. Good. So yeah, I mean, we could just keep running out of render range and then farming this camp, because it's a nice, easy one to do. And since we're single player, it's gonna respawn right away, like instantly. Again, trouble is, my axe is pretty broken, so we would have to switch with our thrall after a bit.
Stevie will have your heart, Outlander!
And I guess in the meantime, while we're getting them to respawn, we can run back here and see if a meteor comes down. Because I should be able to see it from this side. Yeah, they're already back. So this could be a quick farm. Depending on how generous they are. Spectre coating. Sorry for a helmet. We'll grab that just in case it does. Another helmet. Okay. So assuming the armor does give star metal. This could be relatively quick. It would be really nice if they dropped star metal tools, because that would save us from having to make them. We would just need to repair them. What's the durability on my axe? 169. It's gonna have to keep a watch on that. Yeah, it seems like when the fire goes out, we're out of render range, then we can head right back.
Eyes open! There's something out there.
Really? Where? Possibly the guy holding a torch in the dark? Tanner 3. I don't know why I'm checking them. I don't have anything to capture them with. Sumerian steel boots. Hardy feast. Follower damage plus 12%. Lasting feast. We'll eat one of those. Carry capacity. Witchfire. Cool. Always take oil. I should check their box as well. I bet their box resets. Cooked pork feast. I should stop taking steel. This is gonna wear us down. Could also farm the blood metal tools. What the fuck is blood metal? I have no idea what blood metal is. Sounds badass though, like blood metal. I listened to blood metal before it was cool. They are a special set of tools that drop from one boss in the game. Oh, which boss is it? I kind of remember this now. They're better than the star metal stuff. That sounds familiar. Is it a tough boss? I remember thinking about that stuff and then being like, nope. The weird bat demon human hybrid. In the cave next to my house? Or up in this region? In a cave. Ooh, I think they had blood on them. Uh-oh. Starting to get a little corpsey around here. Might have to do something about that. A steel truncheon. I'll take that. Well, how heavy is it? Because I can make those pretty easily now. 5. Nah, we'll drop it. It's fine. We don't need it. We can make them. Yeah, you're talking about Scar Talon Ridgeline way down here. Oh, it's up here. Okay. Kyle. Oh, right. Yeah. Yep. I do remember that. Near Scar Talon Ridgeline. Okay, yeah. So that is the cave. That cave is right next to my house. I think that's a rough cave to go through, though. It's like a dungeon itself. So I don't know if we are adequately prepared for that. Maybe when we get the Silent Legion set made, we can go do that. I feel a little more comfortable. Man, I know one of these times that we go here, there's gonna be some named people, and I'm gonna be sad to kill them. But they're gonna have to go. Was it you? Ooh, he got star metal. Star metal ore, just sitting there. Harvest a fallen star. He's a fallen star. Is this Elden Ring? If that person would hand over that shield, that'd be nice. Yeah, no kidding. Or that axe. It's actually probably a good thing if we get a named person in that camp, because I bet they have better drop rates for stuff. Yeah, this is actually going very quick. And if we are within range of the meteors to spawn, this is going to be like a great farm area. So we can just do this until a meteor comes down, get our fill of it, and then be good to go. No named guy yet. I'm actually more concerned about the guy with the knives. They don't hit that hard though. Brown dye, we don't care about. Flagon? I'll take the flagon. I like decoration. Also, I've been keeping an eye out for that stuff in that other game because I was making a tavern. So I was getting a bunch of stuff and decorating my tavern with it. It turned out pretty nice. It's finished now. Maybe if I get more successful as a streamer, we'll get a Conan server going, and then we can all play together. That'd be fun, like a community run. You look a little bigger. Probably a fighter 3. Greatsword helmet. Sounds about right. Yeah. Frost Lotus seeds, cool. I'll take that gold. I'll take the hardened steel as well. We don't need Frost Lotus though. We got a bunch growing by our base, not too far away. I don't think I've harvested any yet, but it's pretty easy to get where we're at. Ooh. A nice gold bar, yeah, I know. Although getting gold should be a lot easier now, because the first time I tried it, I didn't have the careful harvest perk, where you're twice as likely to gather rare resources. So as it turns out, I was just extremely unlucky when I went looking for gold up in the volcano. The next time we go back, we'll have a much easier time getting it, especially since we're on single player and I can just leave the volcano and then come back in. It should respawn like instantly, and so we can go get as much gold as we need. If you could play one game for the first time again, what would it be? Ooh, so many good choices. Taskmaster 2. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind or Fallout New Vegas. I was actually, so my childhood favorite game was Morrowind. I easily put 2,000 hours into Morrowind. To the point where I can read Daedric. Still can, because that's the kind of nerd that I am. I figured out the alphabet. Ooh, another iron pot. I figured out the alphabet from playing, because on the signs, they're written in Daedric. And so you can see the letters, and then when you mouse over it, it'll tell you what they mean. And so figuring it out from there, and then in Morrowind, the scrolls, when you opened them to read them, or to use them, you can actually read them. A lot of them would have text. And once you figured out that there is no X, Y, or Z in the alphabet, at least there wasn't in Morrowind. They eventually made characters for them. it becomes a lot easier to read. Because it's just an alphabet substitution, like wingdings. Most of the scrolls say woe upon you, but a lot of them, or some of them, have like a lot more text that you can actually pick out the alphabet from. And so, that's what I did. I decided I wanted to learn what this stuff meant, and so I learned it, and I still remember how to read it. There's a named guy. Who are you? Sumerian Berserker. Wow, you spawn up here? I think it's a guaranteed spawn by the Mount of the Dead. As an adult, going back and playing Morrowind, because I did recently do a playthrough of Morrowind, I discovered Morrowind is pretty dated. It's a pretty dated game. Some of the mechanics in it are not super great. The story is great, but for instance, the D20 system of like rolling a die every time you swing to see if you hit is extremely frustrating in a game like Morrowind, where it's a real-time RPG. Sorry, my house fan kicked on, and my computer setup is right next to it, so the humming comes through the mic sometimes. That's why I rig my luck, so that I can always win, yeah. By rig it, do you mean have a mod that makes it so it's 100% hit? Because that's what I use. Otherwise, you can be a red guard, and when you activate your adrenaline rush, it's basically like you have a 100% chance to hit. You don't, but it's close enough.
So I can carve it on your pyre.
Spectre coating. I should take all this spectre coating. I keep taking it, but I should continue to take it. Card. Whoa! Raid. Cutler 07. Hi. Little Miss Combat. Hi. I saw you in or no, you were not in It's Your Buddy Steve's stream today, but I've seen you in there. Hi. How's it going? How's everybody doing? We're looking for star metal, so we're grinding and also waiting for meteors. Using game mechanics, you can give yourself infinite stats. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about, Magnus. Hi, everybody. Cutler, what were you doing today? Also Conaning? I'm out of coffee, and I'm sad about it. How's my axe doing? I forgot to check. 108. Okay, we got a little bit, yeah. Conan, yeah, cool. Yeah, we're in, while I'm farming, we're kind of in an Ask Me Anything sort of thing, so, you can do that if you like. We're just kind of talking. Sorry gonna lurk, have a great stream, that's okay. Thank you for the raid, and for the follow, Cutler07, appreciate you. Everybody go follow Cutler, if you haven't. I will do so myself after stream. Where'd the other guy go? Did the other guy fall through the world? I have a suspicion that he fell through the world. I was playing Conan. Yeah, nice. We gotta get rid of these bodies. It's starting to get a little hard to see who's who. Did we already ask what your favorite part of Conan is? Probably the building. I love the building. The building's got its problems, for sure. I guess, I don't know. It's got to be one of three things, right? The building, the setting, because I like this sort of fantasy setting, and like we talked about earlier, Conan started sword and sorcery fantasy. So there's a lot of history there. Plus, it's got some Cthulhu mythos in it, since the guy who made Conan, I forget his name right now, and H.P. Lovecraft were friends in real life, or at least knew each other in real life, so their universes are set in the same world. It's just Conan is, like, prehistoric, whereas Lovecraft wrote in the time of his time, which was the 30s. Otherwise, the gameplay, the combat is fun, which is, you know, the main part of this game, I would say. Like, if you don't like the combat, you're not gonna like Conan. Yeah, good job. I just gotta get rid of these guys as I see them, because the corpses really pile up. My favorite part of Conan is the fact that the snake arrows exist in the game, which are used in a movie to kill an ally of Conan. And the villain was James Earl Jones. That's awesome. It's been a long time since I've watched the Conan movies. Are you talking about the Schwarzenegger ones, or the remake with the other guy? I don't know who it was. Probably the Conan ones, because Conan the Barbarian was all about, like, set cultists. The 1982, yeah. I gotta watch those again. Those set arrows are really good too. I don't know if they still are after the update, but those set snake arrows are fantastic because they poison every time they hit. And so you can stack up poison on a boss, like a world boss, and just keep them poisoned, and eventually the poison will kill them. They're great. I used to shoot so many bosses with them arrows. Yeah, me too. Me too. They're fantastic. I haven't built any of my religious altars yet. I need to. I gotta finish my base yet, because I hope I made my base big enough to put a couple of altars down. If I didn't, I'm gonna have to make, like, little altar areas outside. I can put one up with Discount Aragorn, I guess. I do have that little stick hut that I made, not doing anything. We could attach an altar to it of some kind. But yeah, those set arrows are really good, and they're not even that hard to make either. Oh, the other thing really good about the set altar is that you can make antidotes at them, which is basically a must if you're going to fight anything with poison, because if you get a couple of stacks of poison on you, it's going to wreck you. Totally forgot about Discount Aragorn. How could you forget about Discount Aragorn? You named him. Unlike some people, I didn't push Discount Aragorn to become king. He can be a ranger in the woods all he wants, until the purge happens and he gets killed. Because Robert is my blatant favorite child. Well, he's a good pick for a favorite child. He's pretty awesome. I'll take the silk. We're skipping out on steel truncheons. Don't need that stuff. Yeah, I don't need it. I don't need the earthenware jug. We have demon fire orbs now. We're never gonna make the big explosives unless we want to set a trap for purge guys. Purge meter's creeping up. It's almost ready. It's almost ready to go. I hope it doesn't happen right away. That would suck a lot, because I would have to run all the way back, and it would happen just as we got back. Assuming that this stuff gives us a little bit of star metal, we're doing okay. I don't know if it does though. We're gonna have to watch. Well, I built the dismantling bench. But we'll have to watch what gives us star metal and what doesn't. So that when we do this again, we'll be more ready. Come on. I missed. My favorite child is my idiot of a cat. Yeah. Our cat, advanced reinforcement kit. Our cat is smart in some ways and very dumb in others. Which I feel like is most cats. Except maybe my mom's cat. But yeah, they're definitely a character. Is that compost? Yeah. Raw pork, we don't care. My cat, for instance, doesn't like to do big jumps. She's really like a bush cat. And so sometimes she'll stand on the edge of like the couch or something, and she'll like look to jump over at the chair or the footstool or something, and she'll sit there and she'll do this, you know, and then she'll do the wiggle, 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 and then she'll just jump down onto the floor and walk over. It's like all that build up for nothing. Why? It's pretty funny. We're at 70 durability. We'll have to switch out soon. No named. Oh, she ran into my AAE. That was great.
So I can carve it on your fire.
They're trying to give us star metal as best they can. I keep grabbing this Spectre stuff. This doesn't have a, yeah, okay, good. I was a little worried that it was going to, decompose. Or rot, I guess is more what people say. I'm hoping that Sumerian Berserker that we had just got is gonna be nice. Okay, so let's say like, let's assume 3 for each piece just to be extra super safe. That's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 37 pieces. And let's say we need like 100. So we're gonna be here a bit farming. Anybody have any more questions for me while we're doing this? I don't have a level, do I? No. Okay. 61 durability. Let's see how much it takes for a kill of these guys.
Die, outsider! Crumbs, poxy balls!
Did he say a pox on my balls? Rude, man. Spectre coating, advanced tool upgrade kit. I will take that. So we were at 61, we're at 51. So every time we get into a fight, it takes about 10, give or take. You were given a box containing everything you ever lost. What's the first thing you would look for? Oh boy. Do stolen items count? In 2018, I had all of my, basically everything that I owned was in a storage unit, because I was living with my parents after I got out of the military, and that got broken into, and basically everything I ever owned was stolen. So I'm assuming that counts. So the first thing that I would probably look for from that, it would be a toss-up between my art that was in there that got stolen, since that is not really replaceable, or my vinyl albums I collected while I was in Japan. Because those are also not replaceable. Some of them had they were like the vintage ones, and some of them had the Japanese covers and stuff. So even if I wanted to try to replace those, it would be extremely difficult. Okay, let's switch out now. Just so I don't forget and I break my mace. But yeah, I had a whole collection of 80s rock and metal vinyl albums. Ranging from, like, I'm a huge Metallica fan, so I had some Metallica vinyls. I had a couple of Megadeth ones. I had some Judas Priest. I had a Dio, or no, I had 2 Dios that were really cool. Had a Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. What else? There was another one that I was like super excited about. I can't think of it now. But yeah, then all my art projects that I had stolen. I had some drawings and things that were stolen. Luckily, I don't think none of my D&D stuff got stolen, because that was like on me, because I was actively using it. My Warhammer army got stolen. I had a demon army, Demons of Khorne. And I had a few pieces green stuffed into like kind of custom pieces. I had a Balrog, Lord of the Rings Balrog, that I had converted into a Bloodthirster, and then all that stuff got stolen, so that sucked a lot. How many hobbies do you have? So many. I played Warhammer, although Warhammer, I'm not going to get back into Warhammer because it's just too expensive. D&D, obviously. We recently started playing with minis, so that's kind of like my my stand-in for Warhammer stuff. I played Magic the Gathering a bit, although I don't care for Magic anymore nowadays. I have some cards because a lot of my Magic cards got stolen. I had a zombie deck that was probably worth about $500 that got stolen. But one of my friends was really into Magic, and so I bought some cards to play with him. We play Commander stuff. I don't have a lot, but that's fine. We got a ton of board games. You can't really see them behind me. The camera is not positioned that way anymore, but there is a whole wall of board games behind me. I also did some leatherworking. I draw and do other art things. Game dev, if that counts as a hobby. Video games, obviously. What else is there? There are more. There are definitely more. I just can't think of what they are right now. No, game dev's your job. Yeah. I played Harlequins in Warhammer. Play MTG, run D&D games, play other games, try to learn Pokemon. Trying to learn Pokemon. Now I know quite a bit about Pokemon. What are you trying to learn? How do you guys find enough time? I paint minis. I do a lot of things that I'm not very good at. Is the answer to that? Because I get really into a new hobby, like obsessively. And then after a while I'm like, I'll just put it down, and then I never pick it back up again. Like, I haven't leatherworked in years. And I probably should. Because I have a bunch of leather upstairs. It's just sitting in a box waiting. I have like, I got half a buffalo hide in there, and I got some other like thicker leather pieces, pretty big pieces, that I can do pretty much anything with. I just haven't done anything with it. All my tools are up there. Just, yeah. I've not done costume design in years, even though I know how, yeah. That's kind of how I feel. I don't have a reason to. I was going to make a bag for the Ren Fair, because I have a costume for a Ren Fair. Or whatever you call it. It's called different things in different places. And I was going to make a bag because I needed a new one. And then for my birthday, my brother bought me a really nice bag. And so I'm like, well, don't need to make that anymore. And it's like cooled on the front and everything. It looks really nice. So I'm like, well, I don't want to replace that because for one thing, it was a nice gift. And for two, I really like it. So I could make more bags, I guess, but now I don't really need them. I started playing Pokemon X and Y. I have so much to learn. X and Y, I don't have too much experience with. I'm mostly a Sapphire and beforehand, and then I also played Sword, and a little bit of Arceus. But I did do a lot of, 3 gold bars. Thank you. How kind. I did do quite a bit of breeding, to the point where I bred a perfect Growth. And then I never evolved it into an Arcanine, because I got my perfect and I was like, and done. And then I never played it again. Make me an attache case as I cannot find one. Sure, I'm not open to commissions, but maybe. Black and White was my first Pokemon, and then Legends came out, and I've sunk so many hours into it. Legends is a lot of fun. I really enjoy Legends. I do think that there are some things that they could do to improve it, but overall, really like it. I made a pirate coat for Ren Fair last year, but I haven't finished the detailing on it for no real reason. I understand that. I have many half-finished projects. My main hobby is probably D&D. Or video games, I guess. I play a lot of games on and off stream. Ooh, Cimmerian for Gauntlets. And a piece of Star Metal. But otherwise, it's D&D. We just had a campaign start. We played our first session we got our next session on Friday. And I have created a whole... So, my MO for my projects, this is usually why I quit them, is because I get super ambitious with an idea. And then I try really hard to do that. And I bite off way more than I can chew. And even knowing that, I still do it. Because I'm not very smart. And I don't learn from my mistakes. This is the start of your Patreon, video games, and leatherworking. Get burnt out, stop, and never look back. Yeah. So for my D&D campaign, which this is not my first one, I've played D&D for like 15 years now. Or more. I don't know. It's been a long time. I started when I was like 14, 15, and I'm 30 now. So, math. And I've always run in a homebrew world, so all of my stuff is like, I don't know, connected for lack of a better term. Like, it's all been me this whole time. And now for this new campaign, I decided we're going to do nation-to-nation conflicts. So we're playing in Pathfinder 2e, and I created this whole other subsystem, which is, this is not my first time creating a system of my own. I've done that a lot, or homebrewing items or whatever. Like, it's just something that I like to do. Create things. I love to create things. This is probably why I like building so much, is because I like to create a thing. That's the thing I like most in life. But anyway, so I have this nation-to-nation conflict system made, and the nations have stats, and the stat is basically like a D10 system, if you know what that is. Basically, your stat is a number. It's usually like a low number, somewhere between 1 and 5, and that number tells you how many D10s you get. And then you roll that many D10s, which is a 10-sided die if you're not familiar with the language. And on an 8, 9, or a 10, it's counted as a success. That is the basic of D10 system. And that's what my system is designed for. Hardened steel pick. Sure. We can dismantle that into hardened steel. I have no idea if the system is going to work. We originally planned this system to be a board game. My fiance and I, we were creating a board game, which is still in the process of being created. That's just also got put on the back burner for a while. But we have most of the mechanics for it ironed out. We just need to make like the rest of the event cards and things like that for a prototype. Because where we live, Fantasy Flight Games is local to us, or local-ish anyway. So we could send that to Fantasy Flight, the prototype, and be like, hey, you should publish this. And get it made. Oh, I also mentioned that I've been writing a book for, like, forever. That is, like, 7 chapters in, and haven't worked on it for a while. That's another hobby. It's a whole nother thing. But yeah. You don't got anything. Have something nice for me. Nothing. Let's get rid of these bodies, so I don't get confused. Would you ever do a campaign diaries stream or YouTube? World building is my jam. I definitely could. If people are interested in that, I would talk about my world, or talk about our D&D sessions. If you find that interesting. I find that interesting, but I have no idea like what people like. So I don't know if I would put kind of like I was doing Skyrim videos for a bit, and I was like heavily editing them, and they didn't really get a lot of views. So I stopped doing that because it was just too much work. It was too much time investment for too little of what I was getting out of, when I can just put full VODs up on my YouTube, and those get watched just as much. But if people were interested in like my D&D stuff, or in campaign diaries and things, I would consider doing it. I was working on a book when I was in the Navy. Oh, you were also in the military. Hi. Always good to see another vet. And the entire book got destroyed when I was NCIS, destroyed my hard drive and erased all my data. Oh no. That sucks a lot. Well, I won't ask why they were going through your computer and destroying your information, because I not that I assume anything was your fault or anything, but there's only a few reasons of why they would do that. And we don't need to talk about those on stream. I'm so sorry about that. That is terrible. Where'd that other guy go? Other guy? Other guy? Oh, now that guy disappeared too. Okay. Well, they're already gone. They'll probably come back when I come back. Off to work, have a good stream. See ya, Sammy boy. I hope you have a good day at work. It was good to see you. He clipped through the stump. Oh, okay. Well, we'll check him when we come back. There have been bodies lying around this whole time, so he'll probably be there. But yeah, I mean, I know how you feel, because like when all of my shit got stolen, that major of a setback, because like I lost a bunch of my stuff, is so hard to recover from. I was depressed about that for a few years, and I'm still upset by it when I think about it. Mostly over it now, because I mean it was at the end of the day it's just stuff, right? Like it doesn't matter too much. Everybody's still fine. But if I ever meet the person that did it, I'm gonna have words for them, and possibly other things. But I'm not going to incriminate myself, so I won't say what those things are. Cooked pork feast. I'm willing to discuss, as it does not bother me anywhere near as much as it used to. Yeah, it's okay. We don't need to dredge up stuff if it's going to upset you. That's not why we're here, right? We're here to have fun and have a good time. I'm just really sorry that happened. I don't know where you were in your book, but it's not like you can just like whip that back up again. Like I know how it is. I will ask though, what'd you do in the Navy? If you don't mind talking about that. I myself was Air Force, and I was a cyber systems operations guy. So I worked with computers. That's where my Cisco background comes from, because we use Cisco products. I also used to work with Global Hawks, if you know what those are. They're a big UAV that fly at like very high up. I guess I shouldn't say specifics. I don't know how much of that stuff is classified. I was an 8432, aka Preventative Medicine Technician, aka Health Inspector. Oh, I see. How'd you like it? Was it a good gig? I have mixed feelings about my time in. My first base was when I was working at the Global Hawks, or with the Global Hawks rather. And that was kind of bad because of location and people. People always make the job, right? Like, not just military-wise. Like, that's just always. And then when I went to Japan, I was working with, loved the job, hated those I worked with, yeah, feel ya. I worked with the Cisco products. I was in a unit where we were working with Special Forces guys. I was not Special Forces. I'm gonna just say that right now, because sometimes people get the wrong idea. I was not Special Forces. I worked with Special Forces guys. And we went with them to locations that varied around the Pacific Theater. And we would set up their networks and we would talk to their planes. That's what I did. And that was really good for the first 2 years I was there. The last year I was there, I kind of got screwed over. My boss left, so we ended up getting a new person, and he was terrible. And then I got taken advantage of by our higher-ups, and there was nothing I could do about it because they outranked me. So that really put a sour note on my time in the military. That last year was terrible. I developed having panic attacks. I was seeing a shrink at the time because it was getting bad. Things are better now, but that was a rough time for a bit. And I'm sure everybody understands that. You don't have to be in the military to understand that stuff. My whole family, and I say my whole family as in my dad, my brother, and I, were active duty military, so we talk about military stuff a lot. And the for lack of a better term, women in our lives. Hopefully that's not taken the wrong way. We're not military at all. And so sometimes talking about it, things get lost in translation. Military guys typically have a kind of attitude of like, well, if you weren't in, you could never understand. And then it's like, okay, it just like shuts them down about talking about it at all. So excuse me if I talk about the military stuff a bit. I try to be open with it, because at the end of the day, it's not too different. There are definitely some differences, but you could say that about anything. I was stationed in Meridian MS, so a base in the middle of nowhere, had nothing to do. That was my first base. My first class made chief once I got there, so I was shafted to do the work of a two-man department by myself as an E3. And when the department was good, he got the credit, and when it was bad, I got the blame. Yeah, that sucks. My terrible story that I have, my last year I was in. So in 2015, I had 2 discs in my back go out. So these guys aren't nearly being as good to us with their drops as they were beforehand, and I don't care for it. Anyway, so I had 2 discs in my back go out on my L5 and S1 vertebrae, which causes a nice sciatica pain. It's a good time. I will say now, it's very minor to me now. I've sort of found some things that help and tried to take care of myself a bit, and now I can run and I can do everything else that everybody else can do now, which is cool. They got tired of being fought. Yeah, the good guys aren't showing up anymore because they're like, man, screw that. We're getting farmed. I know I'm getting farmed. But anyway, so I got put on a waiver, and for those of you that weren't in the military and don't know what a waiver is, it's basically a note from your doctor saying, hey, you can't work this person out in certain ways, so don't be a dick. There are other things that waivers do too, but that's basically the gist of what mine was. Hey, there we go. We just had to complain about it. That's how it usually goes. For me, anyway. I complain about something and then it happens. Like, man, meteors probably never spawn here. Ever. This is a terrible place. No meteors are ever going to come down. We're never going to find one. Ever. Worth a try. Yeah, I understand it's being farmed, yeah. So anyway, I get this waiver, and I can do my job with it because I work with computers, right? Like, my job isn't super physical. It is kind of physical because we have to build, when we go on trips, we have to build pellets. And when I say a pellet, I mean about 10 by 12 foot metal plate that we stack 7 feet high with boxes. Heavy boxes ranging from, like, some are like only 20 pounds, some are like, 100 pounds. And we stack that up because that's all of our equipment. So that part of it is physical, but the actual setting up and running of it's not that bad. So anyway, I go on vacation. My first time going on vacation. While I'm there. While I'm there for 3 years, I came home twice, and they were both back to back. Because while I was home the first time, I found out Metallica was playing in near my hometown, and so I was like, well, I need to go see that. And so I bought tickets for my brother and I and my friend, and I bought tickets back to fly back to the US and then go see them in concert live. And while I was on vacation, they decided that there was this, it doesn't work if you force it. Well, I could try, okay? Like, we've been here a long time, I haven't seen one meteor. Anyway, they decided that this command center that basically everybody works for needed a new secretary, and because my old boss left and a yes man got put in at his place, they decided that our office was going to sacrifice somebody to go be in this position. And so I get back from my vacation, and my boss calls me into his office. I should say my boss's boss. I take it back. It's my boss's boss's boss. Calls me into his office and he says, "Oh, hey, you're going to be working in this other place starting tomorrow, by the way. Good luck." And all of myself and my boss and my boss's boss were like, what? Nobody had heard about it. And he's like, "Yeah, that it just got found out, and it's a really quick thing, and you're going there tomorrow." And we're like, "What the fuck?" Okay. And so my boss and my boss's boss are like, "We shouldn't do that." They tried to fight for me to get me back into the office because at the time I was one of the most experienced guys there. I had also worked out a class, a 2-week class as a crash course into how to use our equipment with another airman who was like an E3, E4 guy, kind of low-level guy like I was. And we were teaching that class. And then they're going to stick me in this other place to work in for a minimum, they said 6 months. It turned out to be a little longer than that. So they try to get me out, and they can't. And it's like, whatever, okay, fine. And it was really weird to me that it happened so quickly because, as anybody knows, usually things don't happen like that because this is like a non-emergency thing, right? So the first thing I asked when I get to my new work center was, "Hey, how long have you known I was going to start working here?" And they're like, "Oh, we knew it was going to be somebody from your office like a month ago, and we knew it was you 2 weeks ago." And I was like, "Cool." So now I know that my boss's boss's boss lied directly to my face and to everybody else. What's worse, I found out later, is that the reason that he picked me was because I had a waiver, and he thought that I couldn't do my job and I couldn't deploy. Ironically, he has the exact same waiver, so he knows exactly how it works. Is another lie. So I end up getting stuck in this place for like 7.5 months. It was supposed to be 6 months. It ended up being 7.5. And I start, I'm having like panic attacks while I'm in here and stuff. It's a high stress job, but the stress didn't bother me. Whenever we had a real world situation happen, which we had a couple of real world situations happen, I was completely fine. Handled it well. Apparently I got called out by our group commander. We don't have a wing commander where we were, only a group commander. So like the highest person in my chain of command called me out during an all call because I did such a good job during this real world situation where people were literally at risk of dying. Almost did. I didn't have an issue with that. The issue I had is when nothing was happening. And I was sitting in this room. I'm in a vault, right? I'm in a secured area, so there are no windows. You can't have your phone. There's no way out. I'm here until an hour after the last plane lands, so I could be here forever, for all I know. And I just have to sit here and wait with nothing to do. And I'm here for an undetermined amount of time because I was supposed to leave a month ago already, and they just have left me in here. Right, so things are getting kind of bad. And it took me going into my colonel's office, which, for those of you not in the military, a colonel is like a big deal. He can take your pay away. He can take your job away. He can send you away if he wants to. Like, they can do a lot of things to you. You really don't want to get on their bad side, because if they try, they can make your life miserable. But I literally walked into his office and I'm like, hey, Colonel, do you got a minute to talk? And he goes, yeah, sure, what's up? And I said, in these words, I need to get the fuck out of here. And he's like, what? And so I tell him the whole story of, like, you know, I was supposed to leave and I'm having these panic attacks and I can't be here anymore. Like, I am dying. I can't do it. And then that's what it took. So then the Colonel hooked me up because I was on his good side. And then I went back to my office. But I always had trouble with that guy that lied to me the whole time I was there. He threatened to keep me on the island when I was supposed to leave. For, like, out of the military forever. He was going to keep me there until the last day of my enlistment. Or threatened to, anyway. So yeah, that was a good time. Sorry for intense story time. I didn't quite mean it to get away from me. It's still, if you can tell, it still bothers me a lot. Mostly because of the intentions behind it. It was all malicious, intense. Which I have an issue with. What is it with the military doing a massive change and then you get back from vacation? Yeah, I know, right? Every time. Is there anybody from your time in the military that you think has benefited your current career choices? In what way do you mean benefited my current career choices? Because I could kind of take that a few ways, a number of ways. I do have, I do stay in contact with a couple of people that I met in the military, for sure. Oh, anything. Do you think anything, anything from your time in your military has benefited your current career choices? Yes. Yes, I would. I would say just being in and being able to handle certain situations, because the military teaches you things that you may not want to learn. And there's only one way to kind of learn them, and that's kind of go through it. Trial by fire sort of situation. You know, like, abuse-wise. Because in the normal world, they can't really abuse you too much. Maybe they do. I'm not sure. I guess I haven't really been in that situation. But in the military, they can do whatever they want to you, and it doesn't matter, because you don't matter. And so you learn how to just kind of deal with it. I need to drop weight. I could drop these steel bars. I'll just drop them. I don't need them. We're gonna have to go back soon. I'll drop these two. I don't need that. Anything else I don't need? Gray Lotus potion, strength damage up. Elixir of might, we can just drink that. And then also learning, like all of the learning that I did while I was in, like learning Cisco products. I ended up getting my CCNA after I got out. And which is a certification for Cisco, if you're not familiar with the acronym.
Eyes open. There's something out there.
Learning to deal with a lot of problems with computers, because as the tech guy on site, if anybody has a computer problem at all, they come to you, and you got to figure it out. And there's really no backup. You just got to do it. So that helped out a lot too. So just learning how to, I don't know, for lack of a better term, persevere through problems, because you have to do it, because nobody else is going to do it. You're the guy. You have to do it. Probably helped me out a lot. BRB, my cat is stalking something. Good luck. Military's crash course in anti-racism, which is fun to learn after being raised by a racist. Please report back with what cat has caught. Agreed. I want to know what cat was stalking. Also, yeah, I mean, I never really had an issue with it. I mean, like, I myself am racist, so I was kind of like the weird kid in my very small town. Or at least I should say my dad was. Not so much me. I don't really look Asian until I say it, and then they're like, oh yeah, I kind of see it in the cheekbones. Yeah. Ooh, is that hardened leather? It is hardened leather. Nice, I didn't know these guys could drop hardened leather. Like that. My cat has been on and off stalking a leaf all morning. She's losing. Yep. I think you mean biracial, clearly not bi-racist. Well, I mean, like, I didn't have race issues, ever, is what I mean. Like, where I lived and, who raised me, like, I never really had any of that. I don't think, anyway. I mean, maybe I do and I just don't realize it. Not like it would be in, say, a stereotypical South situation, though. That's what I'm trying to say. So, what I'm saying is I had it easy on that regard. We're gonna have to go back, because I'm full. Hopefully we have star metal enough. I'm disappointed we did not get a meteor. Not even one. We'll have to come back, maybe tomorrow, and search for them, depending on how much star metal we get out of our haul here. He was stalking a doorstop. Did he catch it? No, he missed. You gotta love cats, right? Oh man, so good. My cat is named Buttered Toast? That is an amazing name for a cat. Fucking Buttered Toast. That gives such an image of your cat in my head. And I hope it's accurate. There's a lot of bears up here. Oh, that's a cliff. Whatever, we'll go down. What is the image? I'm thinking orange and white, floofy, round face cat. Kind of a derp look on his face. That's what I'm hoping it is. I've never met Buttered Toast, but I love him. Wait, this isn't where I want to be. I'm in the wrong place. You're a black bear. You're in our stand. There is a book here, though. Or a something. There's a learnable something. I'm gonna have to kill this bear. You missed one extra color, but he has everything else is accurate. Nice. So he's a turtle shell then? Or a tortoise coloration? Time to make Cthulhu a Discord just so I can see pictures of cat. We could do that. I'm also interested in picture of cat. Also, I'm lost. I need to get over this mountain to see what I can see. Let's go. Drago? Okay. For some reason, my thralls really like to stand inside of me. and then I can't move anywhere. I get stuck. I was having that issue with the online game I was playing. Brown, orange, and white. So he's cinnamon toast. Yep. Gotcha. That's nice. I had a, one of my childhood cats, his name was Marcel, was cross-eyed, drooled, which was, fun to wake up to. And, he was a white cat. He was white when he was a kitten with an orange tail and orange ears. And then as he got a little older, he got a little more orange, so he looked like a toasted marshmallow. Was he Siamese? He was part Siamese, I believe, yes. I chose him because of the image I was given when he was a kitten. And he looked insane as shit. And now I have the most talkative cat ever. Ever? Talkative cat ever? I don't know, that's debatable with mine. My cat will not shut up sometimes. He found a crinkle ball toy the other day. Supposedly the more you talk to your cats, the more they talk back. Yeah, I've heard that as well. I think that's true. And of course, I meant objects, except that toy did not exist. The last fun story, he falsely slammed into a door. Perfect. The last story that I have is, so my cat, we have rules in the house, and the cat is fairly good at following them, with a couple of exceptions. But she does pretty well for herself. Then he laid down and played with the toy. Yeah, well that's what he was doing, he's playing with the toy. So the cat is, my cat is super food motivated. And she was put on a diet because she got fat. So I portioned out her food. And I feed her in the mornings, not right away when I get up. I always make sure to eat first, so she knows that I'm in charge. She doesn't get any ideas about that. Because if you have pets, always eat before them. It's a dominance game. And you want to be the dominant one in the relationship. But anyway, so I eat first, and then I feed her. And in the mornings, because she sleeps with us in the bed, she doesn't usually care. She's very patient. She'll just sleep until she realizes you are awake. And then she gets very impatient. And so the other day I woke up and I was playing on my phone, checking emails and Facebook or whatever. And so she's crawling around the bed, and she goes over to the other side of the bed, on the other side of my fiance, and she jumps over her and lands onto my stomach. Now, I saw it coming, so I flexed up, because I knew she was going to land on me. And she's like, I just told you, she's on a diet because she got fat, so she's not exactly a light cat. But I was like, okay, fine. She's just being impatient, whatever. And then she kind of did like a circle, sniffed my face, meowed at me a little bit, walked around and did it again. Now, you do it 2 times in a row, that's on purpose. Rude. So I got mad at her. He also knows where her treats live. We keep them in a drawer of our little coffee table. And it's always funniest when she's like sleeping upstairs or something, and one of us will open the door because she recognizes the noise, and you'll hear this thump jumping off the bed as she runs down the stairs, and as she's running down you'll hear she's such a beggar. But yeah, our cat talks all the time. It's kind of nice when people are over because she does get a little shy. She's afraid of men, particularly loud men. She doesn't like loud men. But if there is one of our female friends over, then the cat doesn't care. Like, she might run up the stairs for 5 minutes and then she'll come back down, like, almost immediately. If she even runs away at all. But doesn't talk as much when people are over. We're almost home. Yeah, I love my cat, but I know what you mean. Sometimes it's kind of like, ew, little shit. My apartment in Okinawa was all hard floor, so when my cat got really zippy, he would slide into stuff, including doors. Took him a while to figure it out. Okay, so we need to build a dismantling bench, so that hopefully all of this gear that we collected gives us some star metal. And we'll have to sit there and watch it to make sure that it's giving us what we want. Oh, I ran out of stamina. It's like, why aren't I attacking? Sunburn. There we go. Not too worried about wolves. Alright, we're gonna put you here. You got A level. I'm gonna take my axe back. I'm gonna repair up his hammer. Well, yeah, I should just repair it. Just in case a situation like that happens again, we'll want it as healthy as possible. Like, we gotta repair a couple other things of ours too. Our pick is good. I think we need to repair our sickle. Yeah, that's almost broken. Give that, put that on our bar. This thing is good. I have the perk that makes it so we can move at full speed. Even when we're over encumbered, which is nice. Okay, you're gonna stand guard here. We got all this black ice. We'll just throw this directly into here. Might as well kick it on too. Sure, make some hardened steel. Rhino head soup. We can just throw into. Well, wait. We got a fridge. Preservation box. It is a preserving bin. Lasting feast. We got pork feast. Hearty feast. I guess I can take these out, throw in lasting feast, throw out this ice, put in our soup. I had a lot of feast. Metal. There, we got our orbs in, what, this one? Yeah. Potions can go on our alchemist bench. We got a lot of those spectre coatings, though. That's nice. Throw those back in there. Witchfire powder can go into our artisan's table. Where is our tinker's? I don't remember where things are. Tinker's bench, here it is. That, and we got a toolkit too, right? There it is. Gold coins, top box, yes. Gold bars, where's our, there it is. That'll be nice, get some more alchemical base. Although we're doing pretty good right now, still, from that time we got them. Throw our silver coins in here. Blood, we'll just throw in the fluid press so we know where it is. Alright, what does it take to make... Oh, I got a level 2. Nice. Where is our hammer, or repair hammer? It's on my bar. Okay, good. We need to build a dismantling bench. How do we do that? General? 100 brick, 50 insulated wood. Easy. That was right? No, I did it backwards. I need 100. And then the dismantling bench, we will put... we got this spot right here, actually, because we closed up that door, right? And also, we can put things closer now without having to worry about clipping because of that mod, which just makes our life easier. Alright, let's see. Medium armor helmet. Medium armor helmet. Okay, it looks like we are getting hardened leather, so, I mean, that's good. We may not get star metal. Sumerian steel, heavy armor. Hardened. Sumerian for tacit. It's looking like nothing. Heavy armor is probably going to give us hardened steel. Sumerian steel pauldrons. You know, I could actually probably just keep this heavy stuff instead of dismantling it, since it's not going to give us star metal. The medium stuff we'll get rid of. I guess we could keep that for us. But nah, it's fine. Okay, so we got part of a set. Unfortunately, no star metal for us. This layered fur and hardened leather, though, will be nice to have. I mean, the pieces were definitely worth taking, if only for that. Let's take out our berserker, because you're done.
Hey.
Let's see your stats, buddy. Sumerian Berserker starts with a Star Metal Greatsword. We can break that down for Star Metal. 2884 starting health. Growth chance, 60 vitality, not great. 70 strength, pretty good. Grit, 80, agility, 45. He's okay. he's gonna need RNG on his side. Let's equip him with this Sumerian steel stuff, and then we'll make him a helmet and some boots. But for now, I mean, that's 701. What are these guys? $716. So with 3 pieces, he's almost as much as these guys in the full set of heavy. Because this is epic stuff. You can tell by the little purple arrows in the corner. So we'll get him leveled up at some point. We don't need these climbing boots because we already have a pair. Or these gloves. I'll throw these down here. Layered fur, hardened leather, regular fur. Those, yeah. We throw horns and things in the armorer's bench. I don't need that. This is garbage. Missed a potion. There, throw that hardened pick. Dismantling bench. Layered fur too, or layered silk, I mean. All right. Can I do star metal? I can't. Hums with the cosmic secrets like an ocean in a seashell. How do you smelt star metal ore again? What does it require? Does it require... It doesn't require dragon powder, does it? That would suck a lot. One of these archers can take these hardened steel arrows. You, about. Here you go. You have these. And you have these. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how much, maybe you need multiple star metal ore, but I think there's another component to it that you need to craft it. Now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, we'll throw that torch in our other box. There you go. Eventually this place will be decorated, probably. Floating bowl, don't worry about it. layered silk. Let's put that down there. Regular silk we were keeping in the carpenter's bench for bow purposes. Throw this absinthe in here. We kind of let our our stations just kind of go. Maybe not the best idea. We should have filled them up maybe, but that's alright. Since we are... Oh, our purge meter is purple. So now, any time is going to be purge time. So I think tomorrow, we'll go grab some thralls locally, get our bar moving up, and then, I guess, get some people outfitted, move them around a bit. Because while I would like to go look for more star metal, I don't want to be over there when the purge happens. So we'll have to wait until after the purge. Hopefully we can get it to trigger tomorrow. And then we'll just have to make do. We'll just have to do the best we can. I should make sure to have my legendary weapon on me when the purge happens, just in case. And, you know what else I should do? Is make a lot more truncheons. Because if it's a human purge, we're gonna need truncheons. Right, and we need a helmet and boots for him. So let's make that quick. There we go. Beautiful. He can keep his Star Metal Greatsword, I think. How much damage do our maces do? 44, 25% versus 56, 19%. Sure, that's fine. You can be a Greatsword man. Alright, but otherwise, that's gonna do it for me today. Got some of these rewards. Can we claim anything new? Battle Pass reward unlocked! We unlocked walls. Only if we've bought the Battle Pass, though. Wall frames with an arcane motif. Oh, I see. Those do look nice. Alright, anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. While I looked for star metal. Tomorrow, we're gonna try to get a purge going. So it should be a little more exciting. And, well, we'll see what happens.